I think in every investment game, your entry point, your price point of your purchase is the most important thing. Rodeo, I made 34,000 across all units, simply just because.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Raymond. I'm back with another episode of Building Wealth While Black. We about to get into another episode with my boy Andrew, and we're going to view his property. He's been doing Airbnb for years. He's going to drop a little game for you guys, so let's get into it.
Well, I appreciate y'all come checking out my property. This is 7225 Tollbrook Lane, Melanin Magic and Traveler's Paradise. So let's take a look at Melanin Magic first. Here it is. This is actually my first theme unit. Trying the melanated theme. Didn't know how it was gonna go, so we'll see why I did my other side. But yeah, it's been beautiful so far. We'll dive into like the numbers at some point today.
So what inspired you to start doing Airbnb?
You know, it actually, so we could take it back to when I was living in Boston. This was like 2018, 2017. Crazy story, I just broke up with my girlfriend at the time, and we had a 2-bedroom, and Boston rent is crazy. So I'm like, what am I gonna do to pay this rent? Didn't want to get a roommate because, you know, they're gonna be messy, they're always gonna be there. And I didn't want to just deal with it myself. So I thought, how about I rent out this extra room? Once I found out how easy it was, how much money I could make, literally, essentially living for free, it just transformed into, okay, how about I get my own properties and do the same thing? So fast forward to now, one of my duplexes I built, tried Airbnb out, didn't necessarily work, but stuck with it and kind of started getting into the themes to make it a little bit bigger and better.
All right, that's awesome, man. So did you always wanted to do real estate, or how did you even like venture into your first property? Was it always in your mind to do Airbnb,
No.
or were you just first thinking like rental property, like long term?
Yeah, no, I didn't want to do anything with real estate. All I knew back when, you know, I didn't really have any money, didn't really know how to make money. I had a buddy doing real estate. And I'm thinking, hey, Amir, you're making it happen in real estate. How can I do the same? That was my intro. I gave him like, I think $10,000-$15,000 for a 3-month loan and said he'll give me 15% return. That gave me that first little taste of, okay, what real estate can do. We did a project together, and that kind of built into, okay, let me see how I can be passive in the real estate game and not really have my hands on. My first real experience of me being hands on was this property about 2 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome. So I guess you started off as an investor, seeing like then you venture on into doing your own property, right?
Yeah, 100% passive. I like to tell people, if you don't know the game, don't know how to fix and flip, be a long-term landlord, latch on to somebody who does. My buddy has been doing it for 4 or 5 years, has a track record, and I had some money from 401ks and whatnot. I think that's the best way. If you do have 10, 15, 20,000 in the bank, just tag team with someone. And if you don't, always tell people it's either time, money, or skill set. Most people either have the time, not necessarily skill set, or the money. If you have time, hey, let me go work for you. I work for free. I just want to learn the game. Not many people want to do that. They want to just say, hey, give me the game for free. And that's where, you know, things kind of fall apart. At least for me. I'll kind of laugh or ignore it, you know, because I just know their mindset isn't even ready.
Right. So right now you're doing really just a quick inspection of this unit.
Right.
How long have it been since the last time you've been here?
Man, fortunately, I haven't really been coming to do inspections. It's probably been a month, a little over a month, because at this point, I've kind of developed my team. So my cleaners, they always send me pictures. They send me pictures of the before and after with the guest. And then either right before my next guest checks in, I have my inspector come to do a final check. So of course, we're humans. Our cleaner's going to miss things. I don't want to beat them up too much because they obviously do a good job overall. But because of that human factor, I just want a second set of eyes when I can't come myself. So that's where my inspector comes in.
All right, man, this is a lovely space. So this was your first melanated theme?
Yeah, Melanin-Magic was the very first one. I had another unit, a 2-bed, 2-bath duplex on the east side that was not themed at all. Just furniture, got off Facebook Marketplace. And I was running into challenges of, guests that didn't really care for the area. The area is predominantly black and brown folks, and people who aren't used to being around that might be intimidated. So I thought, if they don't even want to be in the area, if most of my guests are black and brown, well, what happens if I just make the unit for them 100%? And that was a risk I took, and I think it's been going pretty well.
All right, yeah, let's go upstairs.
Actually, we haven't even went in this room yet. So, just to talk about how I even did the theme, I actually had an interior designer for my very first one. And what I did for Melanin-Magic, because I knew what I wanted, I mapped it out on paper, as in I used the app for my interior design. Then I said, hey, interior designer, go bring this to life, because I don't know how to piece all the furniture together. So the beautiful thing about this unit is she pieced it together amazingly, but a lot of the key features are mine. For example, this picture, I actually thought this picture was going to be my main picture in my living room, but she didn't necessarily think it was, I guess, grand enough for that. So we turned it into a grand queen bedroom. Then we took some pictures from the internet and made our murals to make it more of a wow factor.
That's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. So you pretty much use the right resources, the right people to kind of help improve your vision.
Right, because a lot of us want to save money, save money, thinking that we can do everything on our own. But if we don't have that skill set, you have to leverage the people who can do it right.
Right.
Then from there, you build the skill set. So after this one was themed, I said, maybe I can do this. I took a lot of the structure, the bones of how she themed it, and did the same thing, just changed different colors, changed different ideas and pictures.
All right, we can go upstairs and see the other rooms. So how many rooms is in this one?
So this duplex holds 8 bedrooms total. Each side is 4-bed, 3-bath. Every room has at least a queen bed and then 1 king. But then on the other side, we'll go take a look at that. That's actually 2 queens, 1 king, and then 2 twin beds. So in total, my strategy is I actually rent out the whole duplex together. So you rarely get people booking one side, compared to the whole thing. And I do that because competition. Obviously, we're not in the heart of downtown. We are in a predominantly black and brown community. So these are some factors that kind of work against me, even though I am just outside of the loop. So when we think of competition, there are more 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units on Airbnb. That means it's a saturated market.
Right.
So what do you do with that? You get more rooms. There are probably 5 in total I can count that have 8 bedrooms. Those 5 are spread across everywhere. There's going to be enough people to book all of them at whatever price we set. So if I have a theme, 8 bedrooms, pretty good proximity, and the right price because my mortgage isn't that high and I'm not renting it, my numbers majority of the time work out and I'm going to be booked up more than most people.
So how do you feel about, good point that you're making is renter arbitrage, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't purchase them. They might start off just renting and then Airbnb them. So did you ever do that with any of your properties or you purchase all of them?
So yeah, the very first time I did, I feel like there's a little stain there that I can see, but I can't. Gotta work on that one. Yeah, the house hacking I did for my rental when me and my girlfriend broke up, that was essentially rental arbitrage. I didn't rent out the whole space, I just rented out a room. But I think it's beneficial for people who want to get in the game, just as long as they do it the right way. Admittedly, the first time I did it, I didn't know that was the right way. I just did it. I didn't tell the landlord, and I made it out of it. But once I tried to do that again, at an apartment complex, they reached out and said, "Hey, this isn't allowed. You either move or stop doing it." So I like the place. I ended up staying. But if you create your systems, if you actually make it a business, rental arbitrage is pretty great, and lower barrier entry because you don't have to pay for the down payment, maintenance, all that.
Right. So were you able to, I know in this area there are some programs to buy homes where you can have 0% down. Were you able to utilize any of those programs and purchase any of these homes, or?
Yeah, so I definitely take advantage of those programs, FHA programs. It's there's NACA. There's a whole bunch of them. I would say go to like a credit union. They usually have the best ones. But there's just a standard that you have to make sure you live in it for at least 50% a year. So that's what I did for this unit. This was my primary home. I stayed in it. I only booked it on the weekends so that I don't get in trouble with the whole 50% thing. And then once the year was up, I moved out of this one and I was able to move on to something else. So as long as you're not like doing anything super shady, they're not gonna really bother you. You pay your rent, you pay your mortgage, everything usually turns out well.
So this is 4 bedrooms, and you said you have how many other units?
So I have 7 units in total, 3 duplexes and 1 single family.
All right, let's get into my favorite part, the numbers. So
Okay, let's talk
what,
numbers.
what are the most profitable Airbnbs out of the ones you have? Is it a single, the duplexes?
So this property here has been my bread and butter since I've gotten it. Let me think. I'm gonna say, so my mortgage started at $3,400. So something to think about as well. My mortgage started at $3,400 a month. It increased to $4,300 a month due to taxes. And that happened because this was a new construction. When it's a new construction, the property is valued at just raw land. The moment they revalue it to a land plus a new construction build, taxes shoot out the roof. So anyone who is getting into buying, they have to just automatically think $800 to $1,000 on top of the mortgage is what their true mortgage is going to be if taxes aren't already considered. But with that being said, my mortgage now is $4,000. I can see at least anywhere between $8,000 to $13,000 gross per month with this unit. So if I think my total expenses, it's the $4,000 in mortgage. I'm gonna say give or take $1,000 in expenses, cable, pest control, alarm system. We're looking at $5,000, $5,500 in expenses. So you do the math on that part. But yeah, so far this has been the most profitable. My single family is getting there because I'm not taking advantage of both units that well here, and I could, but that single family, it holds the same amount of people. It's a 2,700 square foot house versus each one of these are like 1,800. So it holds larger groups, more people, more space, more activities, and it has a more luxury feel. So what I'm going to do with this one is the weekends are booked. I'm confident with that, but the weekdays has always been a challenge with all of my units, all of my bigger units. So I'm able to actually accommodate the 17 plus group of people and the 6 to 8 group of people during the weekdays. So my price goes from $800 to $1,000 per night on the weekends to as low as $100 to $130 a night on the weekdays when it's a gap.
Right.
And if I explain that, I keep my prices the same. I use a pricing tool called Price Labs. My prices are determined based on the market. It's market driven. So once a weekend gets booked, say it gets booked for $2,000, I already make what my goal or expected number is. We'll say it gets booked at 15. I'm happy with that weekend number. Now I can go in and make a little extra by booking the weekdays. If it was $300 on weekdays as my minimum, now I push it to 115, 120, 130. So a person, and people who travel on weekdays, they're either there for work, something where they're not really in the house, not really partying. So I don't really care. I'm not really concerned about damages as much. I'll give it to them for 115, 130. Now I make an extra $400 on top of my weekend. So if I get that weekend booked at a top dollar, it's just a beautiful thing. So that's the thing that's been missing with this unit that should be happening, but I just don't think the 4-bedroom draws as much attention as the other one.
So yeah, we're in Houston, Texas. So what about rodeo season? How was that? Because I heard from other people that rodeo season was extremely well.
Man, I'm super thankful for rodeo season because my newest unit, I just got it back in November, December. So those 2 months, I broke even. And I'm like, in January, February are the worst months for all of my units, no matter what. So when that rodeo came, we'll say February I made, I'm gonna say a number, 15,000 for the full month across all my units. Rodeo, I made 34,000 across all units, simply just because everybody's coming in town. The prices are 3-4x, and my prices were probably still reasonable, but everything just hit top dollar. So that was crazy. We always gotta anticipate, which is where my Price Labs comes in. If you just have standard pricing throughout the whole year, you literally miss out on your peak season, like summer, like rodeo, like like concerts that come in. So I don't know all those things. The tool helps me with that, and make sure I'm pricing competitively.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So what pitfalls that you can give to somebody who get into Airbnb? I know you done made a few mistakes, and now that you kind of figured out the game of pricing and other things. So what things that you can maybe advise, of what pitfalls that prevent somebody else from making the same mistakes?
I think in every investment game, your entry point, your price point of your purchase is the most important thing. So there's all these properties on market right now. They're priced way too high. If you go in thinking that you're going to buy this property, Airbnb and the numbers work right now, you're more than likely going to struggle. You're going to start pricing your property way too low just because you need to make your mortgage, and eventually you're just going to fail. So the most important thing, you have to buy right. If the numbers don't work as a regular rental, do not try them as a Airbnb, because then you're going to be worried about the competition and you can't price everything as you should. Other than that, I think my challenges have mainly been this property has actually given me most challenges. It's not necessarily something I've done wrong, but it's the maintenance. I've had sewer coming back out of my tub that had to be on the spot cleaning myself, power going out, water not getting hot, stuff like that. You just have to be prepared for, and you have to have capital for to make the adjustment, or you have to do it yourself.
Oh, okay. So I'm assuming that probably was your toughest day. So what was your toughest day? I know when we met at the other Airbnb, you dropped a little bit about one of your toughest days. Maybe you can share with my group online here.
Man, I can only think about what I've been having a challenge with now, but I would say a tough day that turned into a win. Again, talking about the power outages. So I didn't realize the HVAC system had to be on auto versus on. My AC went out about 4 or 5 times. I'm like, what's going on? I thought it was a bad AC. Come to find out the guests have been running the AC nonstop and it just freezes. So a guest had booked a private dinner at my unit, and the AC's not working. And I think it was the AC and probably the power. It was probably the power, one of the two. So I'm like, dang, early into the game, I'm about to get a bad review. What do I do? So all I could think of is let them use my apartment common area for the private event. So I said, hey, y'all gather up, come downtown. And I don't know if you know where I was living at some high rise.
Yeah, I remember you was living all fancy life over here.
Man, so that 47th floor view for the brunch, man, they just loved it. Ate it up, got my good review. And like, those are the things that's like, you could just get screwed. You could be like, oh, well, sorry, I'll recover on the next guest. But like each and every guest, I feel you just have to give it your all because these reviews matter, which also is the reason why Airbnb isn't a comfortable game for everybody. People think it's a sit and forget. It's a cash cow. But every single guest, every single review matters, and any guest at any moment could just end your listing, can ruin it all for you. So you have to find ways to mitigate those risks so that if that does happen, you're still good to run your business.
So how has this Airbnb game like really changed your lifestyle? You know, what opportunities may that open up, or how things have changed since you started this journey?
You know, lifestyle, not so much. A lot of people get on me for this piece because I still feel like I'm so brand new. I'm still in the game. I don't really treat myself to many things. It's like cash, reinvest, cash, reinvest. So I'm still kind of rolling with it. Differences is now people come to me asking for the advice for Airbnb. People are almost starting to ask me to property manage for them because I have my systems. But yeah, lifestyle, I still feel like I got like 5 or 6 more properties before I can be like, okay.
So what is your goal number? I know you probably got everybody I know usually try to have like a goal number of doors that they want. Mm-hmm. So what is your goal?
So short term, I can tell you my short term right now. I want to stabilize my current 7. So right now I'm my debt is super high. I'm over leveraged. So I'm like, let me stabilize. Let me get all of my systems in super tight shape. And 2-3 years, let me look at what my portfolio looks like, because I'm almost open to selling these as a package deal. For example, even if I sell them individually, this property I bought for $495, and maybe it's valued at $550 right now, maybe more, I think way more. But that's just market value. I'm considering selling this as a business. So not necessarily like to a regular person, but showing 3 to 5 years pro forma of this property generates you 20 to 15, around 13 to 15,000 per month. I want to sell it for 770, 800. And if you have the right pro forma, cash on cash return for a true investor, that they're going to be okay with a 5 to 8% return. So that would be a potential exit strategy, which would turn into me then saying, okay, you buy from me, I'll give you a discount on property management. So then I can still be attached, 10%, 15% there. It's a strategy, it's a thought process, but if I can sell, get this cash, and if I do stay in the real estate, hotels, 10, 15 units, apartments, stuff like that.
So what is your next venture? Do you think you ever pivot from Airbnb or real estate to something totally different, or?
No, my investing strategy is this. You have to have a main source of income to generate, to take hits and L's. You have to have your second income to really just grow your income, and then third for passion. So I'm just taking all the money I can and put it into all of my investment vehicles. That's kind of my strategy. I don't really care to do any other kind of work. Get my money from my job, get it from real estate, then put it into crypto, the stock market, more real estate, and businesses. And that's my rinse and repeat. I'm not a serial entrepreneur. I look at myself as an investor 100%, and I just find ways to make money to go invest it.
Oh, that's awesome. Because some people are really concerned with still working and doing entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So what is your take on that?
My take on that is I quit my job in 2019, and I thought I needed to quit my job to actually be successful in entrepreneurship. I thought maybe, oh, the job is holding me back. My mind's all on it. But once I quit my job, I also realized, damn, that was structure. That was discipline. That gave me a schedule. I have all this free time. Now I'm not even motivated or focused on what I have to do. Now I'm like doing yoga every now and then, somewhat working on business, but majority of the time just hanging out, relaxing. So I think people need that structure. If you can't be disciplined to work in the 4 hours after work, how do you think you're going to be disciplined to do it with too much time on your hands? So I think that's what people need to, self-check themselves on. Is it that the job is holding them back, or they're just, not motivated enough to go after what they really want?
Yeah, I somewhat agree. Because, my thought process, I feel like is different for everybody. Everybody
Right.
got their own approach to building wealth. So what does building wealth while black mean to you?
I mean, hey, it's I hate the word, but breaking these generational curses, it's building money, teaching the community, teaching your family how to maintain and leverage money. I think our community knows how to make money just like anyone else. We can make it. We're hustlers. We're grinders. But do we keep it? Do we grow it? Do we elevate it? That's what building wealth is all about.
Right.
Make the money, grow it, flip it, and just keep it. Keep it in our community.
So yeah, well, speaking of keeping in our community, any ways you think will be able to pass down the wealth, or I don't know if you got any little ones or anything on the way, or even just family, because one of the worst things that happen in our culture is that a lot of times people pass away and don't leave bills. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And doesn't leave nothing. And then you look at other cultures where people pass away. It might be a sad time, but at least it's not a financial sad time. They actually leave assets for their family.
Right. No, I definitely, when the time comes and I have children, I definitely look to teach them, how to manage the money. The money's going to be there. It's going to grow. People talk about trust, which I'm not familiar with just yet, but like, if the children know how to manage it, doesn't matter if it's my money or not, they're going to be able to grow it. And it's all about a mindset, number one. But my big thing is, regardless of what my kids and my children do, and my homegirl Brittany kind of brought it up, and I love the idea. It's like, what impact are you doing outside of like your family? I think that's where I'm seeing I'm gonna have more nowadays. It's showing people that you make money, but then you give back to the community. Like, you came to one of the cleans, like,
Yeah.
I invest in this area, why aren't I giving back to it? So going out there and cleaning with my hands, showing up, showing that it's not just about the money. Taking that and then, planting gardens in these communities, talking to the people, let them know how they can do this too. So that even the kids walking down the street, even though they don't know, they're seeing, hey, why is this guy over here just picking up trash? It's just those things I think will be me just expanding my circle in this community, and hopefully that's going to be the rich impact, long term.
Yeah, I understand that, because just in case you guys don't know out there, we was out there sweating on Sundays picking up trash, and this guy was doing it. How many Sundays in a row y'all did it?
Now, we've been cleaning up Sunnyside and South Park since November 15th of last year. So about 6 months.
6 months, guys. That's 6 months of out there picking up trash. And I want to make sure we shout out the junk removal company that helped you guys, who I think were volunteering.
Clear Your Junk. Yeah.
What's the name?
Clear Your Junk. Ty Collins, he's been the man. He's been damn near there for 4.5, 5 months. Brittany, with Wire, she's also been very consistent, helping with the marketing. So it's definitely a collaborative effort. And that's kind of what I talk about most of this. It's like, I started it, I showed up, I made a decision to be there, but everything's about community. Like, I can't do any of this by myself. I can just show up and do my part. But anyone who ever wants to help, like, show up, use your skill set. Brittany doesn't have to be the strongest person, but she's a connector. She knows how to market. She knows how to bring people together. Ty doesn't need to market. He doesn't need to bring people together. He has a whole trucking business that can be a resource. There's accountants out there. There's graphic designers. There's people who are in politics. Like, everyone has their skill set. We don't need any more like talkers and congratulators. Like, use your skill set and do something. That's
Right,
what we talk
right.
about.
And I like to, piggyback off of that because that's the whole point of this building wealth while black. Because like I said, my goal is to be the information plug and make sure I show what is possible for our community. Whatever people are doing to further themselves, either it's through wealth or through health or financially, mentally, spiritually, I want to make sure I share that with the community and show that if you're at a place and you feel like, you know what, I don't think I can do this, or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I'm not qualified, and you see that there's people out here that's making it happen and people out here that are doing it and putting their grit and their work into it and making it possible. And I'm glad to see you out here still doing it. And we've been planning this for a while, but at least we got it
100%.
done finally. But you want to show us anything else?
Yeah, if we have time, we can check out the other unit. But I guess to talk about that point, Ray, you've been asking about like interviewing, and we've been talking about it. And I think the natural build up to us actually doing this is you showing up to one of my events, and like not even just one, multiple of my events.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I need to do better at that too. Like when you show up for people, they naturally just like the reciprocation happens for good people. It's like of course, man, I'm an introvert. I can't lie. These interviews ain't really my thing, but you've been showing up, and I'm super appreciative of it. And like that's how we just grow and get better.
Exactly, man. Because
other.
y'all might not know, I'm a introvert myself a little bit, and I'm usually behind the camera, not used to being on the camera. That's why a lot of times I've been stepping up and stepping out of my circle. And I'm glad that you showed up at our open house at the podcast studio. So, like I said, I always remember people who, like I said, it's all about community. And I definitely agree with that. Steady getting yourself around the right people, and eventually I feel like you always will find good people who's always willing to help and share the mission that we all on, which is not just making money. It's about about improving. Because I feel like you got the same beliefs I have, which is like, who want to improve by yourself? You want to. I feel more fulfilled when I'm seeing what other people doing and sharing it with others, and so that we all can be successful, not just like what crabs in a bucket where one person's successful. I want to see our whole community successful, everybody making moves. So yeah, let's see what else we got.
So this is Traveler's Paradise. My interior designer did this unit as well. Initially, I didn't give her much of the layout of this. I said, hey, run with it. Just wanted something to like not be melanated, just in case the melanated theme didn't work. But it worked. Everyone was receptive. This unit actually wasn't getting booked as well as my other side when it was like individual. So I thought maybe the design wasn't right. It wasn't as wow factor enough. So I actually came in myself and redesigned a lot of it, or enhanced a lot of it. So instead of a white wall back here, I did this beige brown wall. I added more greenery on top of the ceilings, and I did something next level in each one of the rooms. So this first room, it's all a Tulum theme, but I just went extreme with the Tulum theme. I added greenery on the whole ceiling. I added some bamboo completely on one wall, and just a little bit of drapery. And then upstairs we had like a sauna peaceful room. Just painted the whole room instead of just one wall. I think when it comes to these Airbnbs, there's no limits on how much paint and color you can do. So if you have the budget, or if you have the skill, paint every single wall a different color, have some personality with it. And then we have pretty much a cave room that's like all black, and then a waterfall room. So overall, I'm loving this unit. I'm loving the direction my Airbnbs are going. If you guys did want to connect, talk Airbnb, talk investing, maybe partner on something, you can reach out to me on Instagram, Unspoken Game, or come out to one of my cleans. We do the cleans Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Sunnyside Community Center we meet at, but you can also reach out to get a link for the specific details.
All right. I see you got your book over here, man. You still selling that one? I know I picked it up a long time ago.
Man, I'm not selling the book a lot. I kind of give it out to people mostly at this point, but there is a plan to get back into this book, you know. Unspoken Game is just pretty much my journey from being broke to making investments. So my plan is I think people will really resonate most with people who are doing it, people who have a lot of money. So once I become super wealthy, people are asking me how I got there, I'm just going to point them to the book.
That's awesome, man. Once again, man, I appreciate you coming out. I mean, letting us come through here and talk real estate, talk Airbnb, and you share a little bit of game with my viewers. Like I said, I want to be an information plug, so make sure you follow, like, subscribe, all that to Building Wealth While Black. Anything else you want to add?
Hey, do something for the community. Don't just be watching, hoping, anticipating, wishing something happens for yourself. Go out there. The more you do for others, the more will come back to you. So I'm a big believer in that, and yeah, let's make it happen.
All right then, man. Until next time, man, we out of here. Later.